The first set will be played on Akilon, excuse me, second set on Akilon Wastes. Spawning the bottom right-hand position as the red Protoss player from STX Seoul. His name is Deer.
His opponent is a blue Terran in the left top position of the map. His name is Taeja from EGTL.
Not just any Terran though, this guy has won many international tournaments, has a lot of fans across the world, and he decided to bring his talents to the Pro League as well for this season. Kind of in and out though, never got to see him 100% here. And also keep in mind, Taeja does not practice in the EGTL Pro House. He practices on his own, and that's because he feels more comfortable doing that, but still a player that can put up such impressive results as Taeja, be able to do that, you know, it really just takes a certain kind of player to be able to accomplish that.
Yeah, and just going back to, you know, being in and out of Pro League, if Taeja was on the lineup throughout the whole season, EGTL could have gotten a better record, but, you know, Taeja couldn't play in the team league because of personal problems, because of his wrist injury. So it's understandable that Taeja wanted to focus on only one of the tournaments rather than trying to play in all of the tournaments while risking his wrist injury.
Indeed. Now, Taeja likes to go for the command center first occasionally against Protoss players. For this game, he's going to just open up a very standard barracks reactor opening here. May grab a Reaper early on for some scouting / minor harassment. Well, you know, you can just make Marines as well.
Deer also trying to scout his opponent, saying, you know what, Taeja, I might have seen tons of his matches in the foreign tournaments, but within Pro League I haven't seen him much, so I think it's better for me to play it safe against my opponent, especially since EGTL decided to go for the proxy cheese in set number 1.
Yeah, well, hold on a second.
Well, never mind. This probe is in a different location than I thought. Yeah,
this probe from Deer may be the one doing cheese this time around. Could have gotten some inspiration from Pig Baby in the most recent match that was played right before the EGTL / STX Seoul match.
Now we do have a Reaper being built by Taeja. That's going to allow him to get a perfect scout inside the main base. But it's not like Deer is going for the catered build against his opponent. This is just a standard opening with the first probe building the third pylon, I believe. No, excuse me, second pylon in that particular location.
All right, Deer, it's time for him to put down his proxy building, and it's of course going to be a Stargate in the position here. Move away with this probe now as well. The Reaper not checking above near that third expansion, so not going to see the proxy Stargate at this point. And that's a really fast Stargate as well. He built the Stargate before any units.
Yeah, and I believe the Reaper was actually rallied to the natural of his opponent. That's the reason why it went down in that third location. But now Taeja sees that there is no third base from his opponent, goes inside the main base, sees that there is a lack of pylon.
Second pylon in the back being constructed, but doesn't see a third one, which has definitely got to put Taeja on guard here. He has got the reactor Marines now, making a few of them at once. Oracle on the way now. The thing is, can that Oracle get out in time before enough Marines come out? There's also a bunker on the way at the natural ramp as well to defend against any potential attacks from the front here, as Taeja also builds a command center and a factory behind this reactor barracks.
Whoa, Taeja to scout the pylon in the Stargate hidden in the 12 o'clock position, but he doesn't see the probe hidden on the right corner. Now we do have the first Oracle finishing and the second Oracle being queued, but how many Marines does Taeja have right now? Only 2, gets up to 4. But remember, single Oracle can attack those 4 Marines.
Nice control here from Deer, killing off the SCV that was focusing on the command center right before completed here, and Deer actually picking off a pretty large amount of workers here. Oh, he's not going to be able to get that SCV, and it will eventually finish up the barracks, or the command center, but overall, the damage has certainly been done here from Deer, and it's not even done yet. He's got that Stalker, and he also has a second Oracle, but now there's a bunker in the main mineral line, as well as a Widow Mine for defense.
Yeah, well, he does have the Widow Mine. How is Deer gonna react in this situation? There is a bunker on the left side, and he's trying to go for the SCVs away from the bunker and the Widow Mine. Did he find a small sweet spot between those 2 buildings and a unit?
He found the sweet spot, but unfortunately wasn't able to pick off too many SCVs there. Still, the Oracles are alive, though. That's a big thing to point out here. 2 Oracles on the map. You bet your butt that Terran players are going to be afraid to move out across the map anytime soon.
And if Deer really wants to, he could save up the energy, use the Envision, and then start eating away on the Widow Mines and then the SCVs. Remember, the Widow Mines, they can get revealed, and the Oracles can shoot it down easily.
All right, well, We do have a medevac on the way here. This command center going to move down to the natural, but just remember, the Taeja doesn't actually have too many units here. There is a few Widow Mines, I guess just one Widow Mine out here. The Marines moving out, though. There's enough of them to scare away the Oracles for now, but if he attacks with both Oracles and there's no Widow Mine for support, maybe he could take out those Marines.
Well, Deer still needs to be careful. He doesn't have the vision, so that's why he was just poking in with one single Oracle, trying to see where the Widow Mines are, and now he's attacking, but that's too many Marines, and Deer needs to save those 2 Oracles.
Yeah, way too many Marines there. And the SCVs over here, one of them may get picked off by the Oracles. Deciding not to go ahead and do that. That SCV is scared, runs away with the minerals. We do have a Widow Mine drop going to Deer's main base, but I mean, look at this. Deer's completely prepared. He has the Stalkers, he has an Observer, and even a cannon in the main mineral line. The drop with the single Widow Mine is going to accomplish virtually nothing.
Definitely, yes. So Stalkers are going to eat away on the Widow Mine as soon as it drops. So Deer doing a nice harassment in the beginning of the game. And unlike some of the Protoss players in Pro League, he saved the Oracle.
Yes, he did. That's going to make a big difference later on in this game now. The Widow Mine going to drop here. The medevac, oh, it's not going to get picked off there, but the Widow Mine does get picked off before it can attack any of the probes nearby.
15 units have been killed by the double Oracle as the medevac goes towards the natural, but did it actually get sniped? I don't see it on the minimap.
Very possible. They got sniped off. Yeah, it looks like it got killed. There's nothing in the units tab for medevac, just a lone Viking. Okay, well now Taeja's kind of in an awkward position here. He hasn't accomplished any harassment, and he's behind on the work count here. The Viking, though, going to scare away these Oracles. One of them in the red. There's still 2 Oracles overall alive, though.
And he could use a Revelation later on in the game to delay Taeja's timing push. It also allows Deer to sneak in this Observer inside the main base of Taeja. Remember, Taeja, he goes for the Observer snipes, and he's really good at it.
Oh, I love this play from Deer. Getting the fast third expansion against his opponent. He did see the third from Taeja underway as well. So he's like, all right, well, I'm already kind of ahead at this point, so if you're going to go for a third base and there's nothing you can do to really actually punish me here, and actually if we look at the units lost tab, Deer hasn't lost a single unit this game.
That shows how his micro abilities are, his phenomenal Oracle micro throughout the whole game. Now, Taeja is going for the double upgrades right now, while Deer only has 1 forge, but remember, opening up with a Stargate and buying enough time to delay his opponent's third base a little bit, and also the upgrades, very nice play by Deer. And like you said, the third base is going to get unpunished at this point.
So overall, like, Deer's actually played a close to perfect game here. He hasn't lost a single unit. He's done a great job at defending against what Taeja had in store for him, and he's thrown his opponent off here, and he's just continuing to play very solid. And I'm curious to see, how his control's going to be towards the mid-game here. Oracle needs to be careful in the red health-wise, so, there's only a little bit of shields to really protect it here.
+1 finishing up as the Twilight Council, and the second forge starts from our Protoss player Deer as he secures his third base, while Taeja, he's just taking on the rocks to make sure that he can land the third command center over there safely.
Alright, got a Viking over here for defense against Oracles at the other possible third location, or going towards the natural to do some harassment here. Unfortunately, the Stargate and the pylon, they're going to end up falling, and finally Deer, after 11 minutes, will lose a few units in this game here.
Yep. As the pylon goes down and the Stargate goes down, he's losing a couple of minerals here and there, but it's really crucial for him to keep these Oracles alive because these units are so useful in this stage in the game. Terran player loves to push out and go for, 12-minute timing attack. If they try to go for the 3 command centers, faster command center, but if they have the Oracle still alive and well, the Protoss player can use that Revelation and delay his opponent from moving out. Those medevacs with Revelation, those are going to get scouted even before they drop inside the main base.
Alright, well, here's the issue for Taeja. He doesn't know about the third base.
Yes.
He has no idea, and also Protoss players generally don't go for the third expansion in this location. They prefer to take the pocket base. So, Deer, this could be part of his mind game against Taeja to just get a little bit more of an advantage over him. SCV-wise, he is 59 to 66, not too bad. But, generally the Protoss player, this is where they really start to fall behind in supply, up like the 20 to 25 supply over their Terran opponents here. And it's starting to happen slowly here, but not as much as it normally would be.
Oracle's still alive and well. There are 4 or 5 Marines over here, but Deer just get out of time. But no, the Marines inside the main base take out the Oracle.
This is going to allow Taeja to bring all of his units to the main bulk of his army here. Still 1 Oracle alive, though. That was only the first one that was picked off. We have the +2 armor underway here, as well as the attack upgrade starting for Deer as well. Taeja not behind in upgrades as well. He's getting his 2-2 and also the +1 mech armor upgrade as he starts to produce Hellbats, and he's also getting a Ghost Academy behind this.
Yeah, Hellbat's a nice addition to Terran Army, C says, as those charge lots that were so scary back in Wings of Liberty can be countered with the Hellbats, but also you need a critical amount of them, because if not, the Zealots can just eat apart on every single unit the Terran player has.
So it looks like Taeja's overall game plan is get to the late game. That's where we've seen Taeja at his strongest. He's one of the few Terran players out there that I feel is more favored than a Protoss player in an actual late game invasion, just because his control is that phenomenal here. So if he can just get to that point, I feel like Taeja still is perfectly capable of getting a victory here in this game, despite not having the best start.
Yeah, in fact, if you don't have a best start, you can make two choices. One, drag it into super late game and hope for a 200-200 fight and win the engagement, or two, go for a counter attack and finish off your opponent. But in this situation, it was better for Taeja to go a little bit more greedy and force the fight to go into the late game scenario.
So the Observer does spot the Ghost Academy here. It's going to be good news for Deer. Oh, grabbing a 4th expansion as well. Like this, very smart. Nothing that the Terran player can really do to punish that as well. So this is the problem. Now the Protoss player is going to have 4 bases, access to every single piece of tech here. Taeja has not been able to do any type of drops or harassment throughout the game. Actually, it looks like he just wants to go for one big timing attack here. The Storm is not yet complete. He will have charge and 2-2, but this could be a little bit scary actually for Deer.
Well, Deer is going for the Zealot harassment. That's going to do a lot of damage since the Bayou units are over here. But it's Deer. Is he going to cancel the Nexus, or is he just going to is he actually going to attack down the ramp? He is going to cancel the Nexus.
I don't think in that position, I don't think there's any way he could have actually held that there. But the problem now for Taeja is there's some drop harassment coming here from that Speed Warp Prism. The Zealots moving around, going to try to pick off a few SCVs, but perfect reaction timing from Taeja. The big issue now is going to be the Zealot there, and the Vikings should be able to scare away, but the Ghost Academy here needs to start getting repaired here. Taeja is starting to repair it, but the Zealots, can they out DPS the repair of those SCVs?
Well, that's too many SCVs next to the Ghost Academy, and Taeja pull back all of his units to defend, so he is going to be able to save the Ghost Academy for now. But Deer really smart using the Warp Prism to put his opponent's units out of position and going for the 4th Nexus once again. And remember, Taeja, does he still not know about the 3rd base in the 3 o'clock position?
He's got to know by it at this point. There's no way that the Protoss player would expand this late, especially with the amount of tech and units he has. He's got the Colossi, the Storm, the upgrades, all looking really good for him. We have 2 almost maxed out armies that will be fighting each other shortly here, but Taeja, he's getting in this groove now. This is where he wants to be in this game. He hit the late game. His 4th command center is almost completed here. His upgrades are looking good. Some Zealots trying to do a little bit of a run by harassment here, but Taeja's not having any of it.
Yeah, so both players are having a standoff in the middle of the map. As Deer, he wants to go for the constant Warp Prism to put his opponent's units out of position. He is taking a 4th base behind this, while Taeja also getting his own 4th base. But right now, Taeja did what he had to do. He dragged the game into the late game scenario. He has the Vikings out. He has the Ghosts out. All he has to do is wait for the +3 to finish.
And the Vikings here trying to defend here. Even a Ghosts up on the high ground there. A few extra Ghosts as well to try to deal with the Zealots here. Warp Prism picked off. Taeja's defense against the Warp Prism harassment is stellar here. I guess that's what happens when your teammate is Hero, who loves to do that same style of play as well. But now the issue is he needs to get in position to deal with this very strong attack. We're going to have these 2 armies clash here in the middle of the map very soon here. Time Warp's going down as well. The Vikings trying to get some volleys off.
And Deer needs to split up his Templars. Remember, his Taeja's Ghost Micro is perfect.
All right, here we go. The Ghosts are not EMPing those Templars there. The Storms go down, hitting a ridiculous amount of units. The Marines absolutely just crumbling to these. But what is this? Taeja, he still has a lot of Vikings in the air. And Deer, it looks like the control from him just wasn't enough. The Storms, they couldn't hit enough of Taeja's units here. And we see him get thwarted, at least for now. But Deer still ahead in supply.
Yeah, and Taeja needs to spam out a lot of units, because look at the supply, 148 to 145 with the Terran player being down, and with the reinforcement, he can just charge in tons of units right now.
And the Ghosts need more time to regather energy for EMP. Otherwise, the Archons are going to be a little bit too hard to deal with, I think, at this point. Storm goes down as well, forces a cloak on the Ghosts. Nice job zoning with those Storms. The Templar are picked off here, though.
And Taeja's doing a nice job just using the Ghost to draw out the Storms, draw out the feedback, and forcing the Templars to turn into Archons. But the problem is, remember, Protoss player had the early dirt. He has a fort base up right now. His economy is not a problem, which means he's going to have constant reinforcements.
All right, it looks like Deery's going to go for the attack here. The Ghosts are cloaked. There's no observers to deal with the Ghosts here, and Taeja's going to do his best to just micro his army back, buy more and more time for the Ghosts to really work their magic here. The Vikings on the low ground now. This will allow more Colossi to be produced here. But does Taeja have enough units to defend against this attack? Once again, he thwarts the Protoss player, but 2 Colossus have been now added into the mix here. The Ghosts are out of energy as well. Additional observers moving towards the reinforcements as well. Storms go down, hitting a lot of these units, but there's nothing left with the Colossus here. More charge lots being added into the mix. Deer has just so much reduction in reinforcement ability, and finally, he has managed to crack Taeja's defenses here, and he's going to be able to push the Terran player back into his natural.
And look at the supply, 124 to 102 as Taeja, he fell back to his natural ramp. The fort base needs to get lifted ASAP, but remember, it's a planetary fortress, which means that Deer, he can just eat away on the planetary fortress, and Taeja needs to come down to defend.
Alright, it looks like that engagement not the best for Taeja here. He's already too far behind in units. He doesn't have the crucial Ghosts that he needs. Not enough Vikings to deal with the Colossi as well here. And now, look at that. 3 attack, 2 shields, 3 armor from the Protoss player. That is not an army you want to deal with here. This is going to be the last stand potentially for Taeja here. He's doing a good job trying to pick off some of these units, but there's just too much Protoss in this army. As Taeja forced back to the corners of his base here, the Vikings going to get picked off as well. More Marines reinforcing here to deal with the rest of this army, but there's just too many Archons. The Colossus remain, and with the reinforcements from Deer, GG is called as STX Seoul takes 2 matches in a row.
Deer going for the Stargate play, which was fantastic. Killed up to 15 units and went for faster, realizing that his opponent went for the faster command center. Taeja did not scout this in time and could not punish it. As Deer took on the advantage, he had tons of economy flowing in and the constant reinforcements in the final battle.
That's a very, very solid game from Deer there. Excellent play versus Taeja. He did good, but it wasn't enough. So now the score 2-0 with STX Seoul ahead of their opponents. The next map and match will be Innovation versus Jaedong on New Fighting Spirit.